Hi, welcome back to Reddit Stories. I'm Shane. I'm Shane.
I'm Shane.
I'm Shane.
And today's theme.
Am I the asshole for serving my daughter wet-ass pizza?
I love it.
43-year-old woman here. My 16-year-old daughter had some friends over in our backyard for a get-together yesterday. I asked them if they wanted food, and they said sure, but honestly didn't seem like they were even having fun. I pride myself in being a fun mom. Maybe not a cool mom, but fun. So I ordered pizza for them. To make them laugh, I played that song, Wet Ass from my phone, and I sang along to it holding the pizza singing Wet Ass Pizza. Honestly, I thought it was hilarious. Then I put the pizza down and began booty shaking a little. No boys were there, just 3 girls.
No boys!
My daughter shrieked as if she'd been stabbed and said this was humiliating, and I said, sounds like dry pizza energy. As a joke. And her friends snickered a bit, so I know the joke landed. Well, it's been a day and she won't leave her room or speak to me. Am I really in the wrong?
Okay, how old is the daughter?
16. Sounds like dry pizza
It does
energy.
sound like dry pizza energy. Like, she was not wrong at all.
This woman's a fucking legend.
Woman's a legend, yeah. Just, I can imagine how long it would go on too, because there was like different segments, there was different acts. Right?
Yeah, she did a whole thing.
Act 1 was bringing it in, Act 2 is dancing, Act 3, got to close it out with the
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here's my stance. Here's what I feel about this.
Okay.
You can live in a world where both exist, that this woman is a legend, and that was fucking humiliating.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I think 16 is right in the area where you don't want your mom to be funny.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's only 3 friends. If it was like you had a party of a bunch of people,
Yeah.
I think that elevates it. But it's like, it's a little just get together. They're just
Yeah,
hanging out.
and I remember, I don't know, this is very personal, but I feel that I turned 18, and then it was okay for my mom to make me laugh. But there was an age, I think it was like, it was like 15 to 18 where she's not allowed to make me laugh.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing. Like she's only allowed to make me smile.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Having met your mom, this feels like her energy.
It does.
And there was a time where if she did that, there's just no. And it's those ages.
Yeah.
And I feel for this girl, but also this is legendary behavior on behalf of the mom. And what I love about this, I have so much to say, I'm sorry. What I love about this is that the mom did this based off of the vibes she was picking up on. And it sounded like they weren't having fun, which only makes me think, like, what if they were talking about something really serious?
Oh. And
Like,
the
what
mom
if-
comes in with this pizza,
Yes,
wet-ass
wet-ass
pizza.
pizza. Like, what if something really serious happened at school and they were talking?
And they don't want to tell the mom. That's brutal.
Oh.
That's a whole different perspective, and I love it.
I'm imagining, you know how there's a part in the song where there's that like truck horn sound? If she had like a little horn that she like, So she was determined the asshole by the comments.
Okay.
Which I think your point is very fair. This is allowed to be funny and also
Sad.
And it's also what level of asshole here, right? Like we read so many stories where someone like breaks up a marriage. And it's like, yeah, you're a absolute asshole. This is like, okay, you're an asshole, but your daughter's gonna laugh about it in a couple of years.
Something can be wet and dry at the same time.
No, it can't.
Damn it. Okay, some comments. You sound like a cringy mom. You're trying too hard to be cool, but to your daughter and her friends, it's an old person trying to be hip and totally failing. They weren't laughing at your joke, they were snickering at you. You embarrassed your daughter and you should apologize.
Incorrect.
Even if your intentions were good, you didn't have the effect you hoped for and you're the asshole. Someone else said, you're the asshole, you're her mother, not her friend. Act like her mother and don't try to be the cool mom. Your kid will either think that you are cool or not. Acting like you're filming a TikTok is more likely going to embarrass her in front of her friends. Someone else said, no one's the asshole. I feel people are being way too hard on OP. Yeah, it's cringy and everything your parents do, like breathing, is super humiliating when you're a kid. I'm getting the Amy Poehler mom vibe, just from the meme only. But I haven't seen the movie, but she doesn't have to f***ing crawl in a hole and die just because she had kids. A lot of parents are super uptight, can't joke around, don't let their kids do anything fun. Let this woman live. She isn't being abusive, toxic, or shitty to her kid. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
And also my parents didn't do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like my parents were a little more on the serious side. So, but
Yeah, my mom didn't do this stuff.
I also think
my parents did this stuff.
see,
They're
but this
silly.
Is, see, why I don't think it's, yeah, I agree. You embarrassed her in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also like, I don't know. I got embarrassed a lot in
Yeah.
my teen years because I was trying to be an actor. So you just naturally, that happens. And honestly, some of it I'm a little grateful for.
Yeah.
Like you want different life experiences. I just think this is a story that when this daughter's like, like at this point now, the daughter's what, 20 now?
Yeah.
It's probably f***ing
They
hilarious.
probably joke about it all the
So
fucking
funny.
time now.
Also-
It's gotta be a staple.
I think if she did this around cousins, it's funny. You do this
Yeah.
around friends.
That's true.
At that age, for some reason, like I remember when I was with
I would
my
get
mom.
so mad.
When I was
So
with
mad.
my mom around friends, like it was so embarrassing to just have a mom.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like I would be with my mom, and if she was driving the car, I would duck. Because I don't want people to know, like, I'm with my mom.
But that's
I don't want
also
people to know I
so
have a mom.
sad.
Like, it's
That's
so sad
so
because being
sad.
16, you're like, I'm an individual. And you're like, when you have a mom, you're like, no. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. But, like, if she did this around her cousins, I think it'd be funnier. If she did this, and, like, I don't know, if she did this for TikTok and she blew up, I bet she wouldn't be embarrassed. I don't know. I'm like, it's embarrassing.
But
when
the
you have your
mom is a
friends.
person too. The mom is also an individual, and they're just trying to relate to their daughter and be silly
Yeah.
and be fun. And
Oh my God, wet ass pizza.
wet ass pizza is good. It's dumb. It's stupid.
And then
I
for
love
her
it.
to punch up and go, you have dry ass pizza energy right now.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It might be different. Also, the intention if the mom was trying to embarrass her a little.
That's fair.
If you can tell when she's trying to embarrass her.
It's certainly one. I mean, these are very short stories. There's probably a lot of context there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are the typical interactions between this mom and daughter on a daily basis? That adds to it,
Yeah.
right? But as just in a vacuum, it just reads as a sitcom scene.
Yes,
to
it
me.
does. Same.
All right, next one. Am I the asshole for singing a song at my gay friend's wedding and outshining him?
This is a lot of outshining, right?
Oof.
These stories here.
That's a good
Why is it
title.
important that his friend's gay? I guess we're gonna find out. I guess we're gonna find out. But like, why does he have
You don't
to
call all
qualify?
your
with,
gay friends gay friends?
Look, like gay weddings, wildly
That's-
different from regular weddings.
That's starting to be a new trend I'm seeing in these stories is when someone adds adjectives that are completely unnecessary
Yeah.
to the story. But
But maybe we don't know.
maybe it's important here.
Might
I
be
don't know.
important.
Hi everyone. This account is a throwaway. You know it's going to be good.
Oh boy.
This is a 25-year-old woman. My friend Mark, a 25-year-old man, married his boyfriend James, a 26-year-old man, last week. The wedding was beautiful and one to remember for sure. However, something happened during the reception, and now Mark is upset with me. So I came on here to ask if I was in the wrong. Mark didn't have any bridesmaids or groomsmen, but he did have a select group of people close to him to help out with the wedding planning, which I was part of. During this stage, Mark approached me and asked me if I could sing at the reception. I have been singing since I was little, so I was honored to be asked to sing at my close friend's wedding. I told Mark that I gladly would. Well, the wedding day arrives, and the reception gets going soon after. After the speeches, I was called up to the front to sing, which, in my opinion, went pretty well. However, during the dance floor portion of the night, Mark came up to me and it was clear that he was upset about something. I asked what was wrong, and he claimed that my singing took attention away from him and James on their big day. I was shocked. I told Mark that he was the one that asked me to sing at the reception, so I don't know why he was getting so worked up, and that I thought that he and James would have loved it. He stormed off and refused to speak to me for the rest of the night. For the past week, I have been messaging James to no response. I don't know if he's reacting this way to just stress, or if something happened between him and James that he's taking out on me, or if it really is just that my performance outshone him because Mark thought it was too good or whatever. Am I the asshole?
There's
There's so
There,
much
we need some.
missing here.
There's some context we're missing here.
I sang some song and it went really well, and now everyone's mad.
I feel like there's got to be a detail that matters that's not
Yeah.
being mentioned, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Still missing the importance of it being a gay wedding.
Yeah, no, it was that. Yeah, we
Never
would have
outshine
picked that up.
In a gay wedding.
So the verdict was asshole, which
With that context, that doesn't.
with what they told, right?
Yeah.
If someone told me this in person, I think I would just be like,
Weird.
huh. I wouldn't be like, oh man, what the frick? They suck. I would not really trust them, but I'd be like, huh,
Yeah.
damn, that sucks.
It's not adding up.
But the verdict here is asshole. So I think
So there's more context.
in the comments we are probably gonna get some insight. Someone said, info. Did you agree on songs and length of time to sing, and did you stick to what was agreed? The reason I ask is to try and figure out any way that you could possibly have upset him. On the face of it, the situation is bizarre. OP responded, nope, no requirements like that.
Requirements.
No
Okay,
requirements.
so-
They didn't specify anything.
Okay, but that's leading me to believe that she's saying like a 45-minute
Yeah.
song or something.
She's like, hold on, one more song, one more song.
She like did her whole set.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She brought her band.
Yeah, with all her songs.
An
that were-
entire Radiohead album. Someone else said, there's a difference between singing a song and a full-on performance. If this were simply a song, she wouldn't be doubting herself. OP responded, it was just a song.
You know what? That brings up a good point. Why would you even ask, "Am I the asshole?" with what was written there, right?
Yeah.
Like I would, if that was the entire story, there would be no reason to even question, "Am I the asshole?"
Right.
It sounds like this person came
There's
on
some
here
guilt there.
saying, "Please tell me I'm not the asshole," but I'm not going to give you full context that would show you that I was the asshole.
I think there's also, we're still missing context because that first reply from OP that said, nope, no requirements like that, 98 downvotes.
She's being dodgy.
Yeah, and OP responding, it was just a song, 83 downvotes.
It feels like you would volunteer. It was this song. This is the time it
Yes.
was.
Or
But
is it Mark
all
and his
that-
friends and they found the thread?
Oh yeah.
They're writing it down.
Yeah, 98 times.
Yeah,
Someone else said, info. Did you pick the song choice or did Mark and James? OP responded, I picked the song. 255 downvotes.
It keeps seeming like this person just needs to volunteer what the song was.
Yeah, just tell us the
Tell
song.
us what the song was.
So, someone goes, info. How long did you sing and what did you sing?
They're just demanding it outright.
Yes, you were asked. I can't help thinking that there's more here to this story. OP responded, I sang Good Lookin' by Dixon Dallas, which has 244 downvotes.
I don't know that song.
I don't know
It's-
this song either,
It's like a country song.
but we have the chorus of the song. He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck, and then he kisses on my bussy. Call him daddy while I holler. Man, that boy's so damn good looking. Looking.
Yeah, play it.
we want
play
to
it.
hear it.
We didn't want to get demonetized by playing the song, but just look at those reactions. Get ready for a lot of talk about Bussy.
Okay, hold on. I was not expecting like a country song with I've never heard a country twang say bussy.
Bussy.
Say kisses on my bussy.
Kisses
paints-
on my bussy.
Okay, well so now it's making a little bit more
Yeah.
Yeah, and now there's a lot of context of why they said my gay friend's wedding. Like
That's
they knew
true.
exactly
They
what
knew what the problem was.
Does she think this would be like sweet and inclusive, or?
I think this reminds me of, we had a story where a woman wanted to wear a dress to her gay friend's wedding that was all covered in rats and stuff. There's a meme online called like gay rat wedding. And she
Okay.
wanted to wear a whole dress that was like, we support gay rats. And it's once again where it's like, hey, you're thinking you're doing something and you're not.
There should be like a there should be like a subreddit called like when being an ally goes too far or whatever,
Yeah.
because like This is like it's trying too hard to the point that you become like bigoted.
Right. What I love is she's going, he's mad that I outshined him. And it's like,
Right.
no, that's not what's happening here, lady. You
she
sang
was
a
like-
song about kissing Bussy.
Wasn't it?
Like that's what happened.
Mama Bussy.
Didn't she also say that I was just too good?
Yeah, like, oh, I was just too good. Like,
I was expecting like Mariah Carey or something.
Right.
Man, like there's such a like, unless specified, unless Mark and James were like, hey, sing something nuts, sing something
Yeah.
crazy and funny and stupid, then there'd maybe be some leeway. But they were
Yeah.
just like, hey, could you sing a song?
Right, or if
No,
they
and
gave it
She's
home-
saying that?
That's vile.
It would be
That's
acceptable
nuts.
if they gave homework and they were like, hey, just choose any song, just make sure it has the word Bussy in it, then we're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Just give us that. That's all we ask
Has
for.
to be a
Yeah.
Bussy song.
Yeah.
This is just nuts. I mean, yeah, the verdict is very clear on this one.
Yeah.
And what makes her even more of an asshole is writing this post and being in this much. She's not in denial, is what's funny. She
Right.
was leaving out the information so
yeah,
on
she
purpose.
So
she knows what
obviously.
she did.
Yeah.
Like she thought it'd be like she had to have thought like, oh, this is gonna be funny. Like everybody's gonna think it's so funny.
You sang a song with Bussy in it.
Yeah.
I think you need to go like, okay, I know the exact moment that upset my friend, probably.
Probably the pumping inside me.
Yeah, it could have been
True.
that. It
Yeah.
could have been that.
Part of me is like, is English not her first language? Does he not understand what these words mean?
No, she knows
She
damn
seems
well
to
what she
know. She seems to
I'm
know.
trying to find some way that this person didn't know better, but it seems like it was almost malicious.
Have you guys ever witnessed anything as cringy as that at a wedding?
At like a wedding I've been to.
There was like at my sister's wedding, there was like a guy that nobody knew that was like really drunk and gave like a really heartfelt speech about my sister and her husband, and none of us knew who this guy was.
Your sister didn't know who he was?
I think he was like maybe he knew my brother-in-law,
Yeah.
but everyone was like, what's going on? Who is this guy?
Damn.
And he was wasted and he was like crying and gave this very like emotional speech. And everyone was just like,
Who is this? Want my girlfriend? Threaten me? Take my whole shitty life. All right?
Okay. Cool.
I had a girlfriend, period. We were bad for each other, and unsurprisingly, she was cheating on me. I found out in a rather dramatic way, and I had a full-on mental breakdown. Dude who she was cheating with had been fed a bunch of lies to keep him from talking to me, and he started threatening me with violence. Long story short, we broke up. She moved out of our place and into his place. I started therapy. A few months goes by, and I realized in therapy that I wasn't just busted up about my ex-girlfriend, but also my whole life. I decided to find a new job, a new place to live, everything. Got the ball rolling, and the day I got my new job offer, I saw an email come into our jobs at inbox at the company I was working for. I recognized the name as the guy who was threatening me and now living with my cheating ex. So I referred him to my boss, talked about how great he was, how I'd only heard good things, and hey, because I was putting in my 2 weeks, they should definitely hire him. Dude comes in for an interview. I'm on the panel. When we're in the room together alone, he's like, dude, I'm so sorry, bro, for all the things I said. Thank you so much for helping me out. I say, no sweat. She always had good things to say about you, and I know she had a good picker. After all, she chose both of us. And we chuckled like polite people. He actually does okay in the interview and gets the job. That job was a shit show. I'm not exaggerating when I say that it is the worst job I ever had. The place that I was moving to was paying twice as much for a third of the work. I was so relieved to be leaving. When I moved out of my place a month later, my landlord asked if I knew anyone who was looking. Gave her the guy's phone number. That apartment was charming as when you first see it, but was simultaneously absolute trash. And you didn't know that until you were living there. My buddy from my old job told me the guy got a call for it at work and jumped on it. So I knew he had my old shitty job, my old shitty place, and my old cheating girlfriend. I hope he enjoyed my life more than I did, but somehow I doubt it. I do know that they broke up about 2 months later.
Whoa!
What insane
obsessed
circumstances.
with this.
Just being like, you know what, you can have it. You know what?
It's like, have that too. Why'd you
Have
take this
that,
as well?
have that, man.
I kind of like love that.
That's
that to me, because the guy will never know.
No, he thinks he's a great guy.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he's not necessarily doing a bad thing. He's just like, hey, if you apply for an apartment, he doesn't owe you to say, oh, it's a bad apartment. He's just like, yeah, man.
He's like, you want my life? Here's my life.
Take my
Right.
life.
The bad thing he did was threaten him. I mean,
yes,
it's like
that guy.
he was the other guy, so it's like, you're not to blame in that big, I'm gonna shut up. Never mind.
No. No, don't. What did he say in there? Busted out? Busted? What did he say?
I don't know. Some comments. I'm surprised you referred his application to your boss. OP responded, I hated my job so much it felt like the least I could do. Someone said, I want to be a fly on the wall when she realized where they were moving into.
100%.
That is so funny.
The revenge is kind of on her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course they
Wait.
broke up. I mean, look.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
So the girlfriend, the cheating girlfriend, moved into her old place with him. We think.
Or at least she, when she went to visit him, was like, "Oh, this is my ex-boyfriend's
ex-boyfriend's
place."
apartment.
So yeah, his cheating ex, was living with this guy, but he clearly was going to move to a new place and didn't consult her enough. So they're about to move into, and then they broke up 2 months later. And so,
They probably broke up when she was like, "This is my ex's place. I'm gonna cheat on you."
Holy crap. Someone else said the story should be chiseled into a stone to be immortalized as a hero's tale.
100%.
And then someone else said, imagine 20 years later he thanked you for all the great things you helped turn his life around with.
He's like, I left my cheating girlfriend. I got a new job. I
Yeah.
left that apartment.
Bro. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. That's just a shocking coincidence.
Yeah. Also, I love the idea of like answering to all of the little like, hey, this is bad, and maybe you should change this about, and just being like, oh, I will do that actually.
Okay.
And then it's like, I will get a different job, and I will move out, and it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah. No, he turned his life around.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. Good for him.
Wow, good for him. It's kind of a fun way to do revenge, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really like hurting anyone.
It's not even as much revenge as it's just perfect circumstances.
exactly.
Yep.
All right, our next one here. Am I the asshole for telling my toddler brother that my Winkie penis fell off? This story takes place 7 years ago when I was 13 and my brother was 3. As of today, he has enough of a working understanding of female biology to know that I was full of shit. I was using the restroom when I was on my period. My toddler brother walked in on me, got a clear sight of the blood, and asked what happened in a scared voice. I said, I'm bleeding because I was a bad boy when I was little and my Winkie fell off. You better be a good boy or the same will happen to you. He runs out to the living room crying to my mom, saying that he's sorry for misbehaving and that he'll be a good boy from now on. My mom thought I was an asshole, but she also got a great laugh before setting my brother straight.
She set him straight, so it's not like scarred for life.
No. She said, yeah, at this
One-
point, now he's 10 years old now and he has an understanding. She's like, yes,
Okay.
he knows.
Oh, but how funny if that kid goes to college and he's like, I don't want to cheat on a test. I don't want to lose my.
He has a girlfriend and she's like, you really hurt me with what you said
like-
earlier. He's like,
No.
oh my God. No. He's like, what's going on? He's like, my Winkie's gonna fall off. Oh my God. He gets arrested. And he's like,
I think it's a good joke. I like it.
it's what I remember saying at the time is like, damn, comedic reflexes.
Yeah.
Your toddler
that.
brother walks in, you're in a very like vulnerable situation.
No, she's
and you
brilliant.
immediately go, my penis fell off.
Yeah.
That's insane. So,
Also, like she's using it like in a parenting way, where she's like, "Be a good boy, or else
Yeah.
this will happen to you." Like, wow.
Oh shit.
once again, I think knowing like their dynamic on a more consistent basis would add to it, because it makes it sound like this is just as siblings already, and that's just typical sibling behavior.
Yeah, I feel like people are the asshole when you hear like, have you heard like where people tell kids the opposite, where they're like, they tell kids that pink is blue and blue is pink just to with their brains. Anyway, never mind.
I will say what I can relate to is because she was 13 and he was 3. My brothers were much older than me, like that age gap. And when you are only surrounded by people who are just actually authority figures to you. Like they're not like, they were my brothers, but they were so much older that anything they said was true. It wasn't like a brother thing where I'm like, screw you. I remember one time my brother, we were both outside and he like disappeared for a second. I was like, Chris, where are you? I was like, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he appears out of nowhere and he's just like, dude, that was crazy. I was like, what? He's like, I just traveled around the world. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, like I don't know, I did. And he was just like recounting all these things that happened. And I was like, no, it didn't. That didn't happen.
Little Shayne.
But I was like, in my head, I was like, holy shit.
Oh my God,
like,
what if it did though?
he really
Shayne.
what if it really did happen? But anything that's said is true.
Yeah, it's true.
So for a little bit, that was absolute fact for him. Comments. You're the asshole, but honestly fairly harmless assholery and funny in retrospect. Reminds me of the time one of my childhood friends and I convinced his toddler-age brother that he was the only person in the world with a butt crack and everyone else just had one big cheek. He's like, do you guys poop? They're like, what is that? No.
Yours is cut in the middle?
You have 2? You're a freak.
Horizontally or vertically or how's it cut?
You have a crack?
My opinion, this is a sibling saying this is like par for the course hilarious. A parent who does anything remotely like that, I'm like, you are a monster. You cannot do that shit to your kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just remembered. Oh my God. Oh my God. I played a huge prank on my brother when he was little. Me and my cousins. I completely forgot this.
What?
My brother would only drink ginger ale for a period of time. And we were like, you're going to get gingivitis. I completely
That's so
forgot
dumb.
this. And my brother was so scared. He was like, I'm going to get gingivitis.
Yes,
Yeah. And then
you're
we,
messing with him because he thinks ginger
Yeah.
gingivitis.
That's good, man.
He's at a sushi restaurant nowadays. Do you want to add ginger to that? He's like, no.
Get that off my plate.
No. No one's the asshole. This is what siblings do to each other. When I was 8, my older brother convinced me that clown men can crawl out of the toilet and eat me if I don't aim right and feed them. So I mean,
Yeah. That's a good lie though.
Jesus
You should be peeing in the toilet.
Christ.
Well, honestly, these are good if they help you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna pee on the seat because
The
I
butt
don't-
crack one is just mean.
You're the asshole, but not like a huge one. You weren't being malicious, and obviously this did not frighten him enough that it will affect him, and it'll just be another dumbass thing you said as a sibling. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for deleting my roommate's 100-hour game save?
What the f? Why would you do that?
Holy shit. Using a throwaway.
Hold on, which game?
Ian, I already know how upset you're
Is
gonna
it
be.
Skyrim?
No, hold on. Ian's gonna be so upset in a second. Using a throwaway because my roommate follows my Reddit account. I, a 23-year-old man, recently moved in with my college buddy, Mike, who's 24. We've both been avid gamers for years with a shared love of RPGs. When we decided to live together, we pooled our resources to get the latest gaming console and some shared titles. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was one of our mutual favorites. Mike dove in before I did and got incredibly immersed in the game. Over a month, he mentioned he'd put in over 100 hours, completing side quests, obtaining rare armor, and progressing significantly in the main storyline. A few days ago, eager to start my own journey in the game, I accidentally overwrote Mike's game save, thinking I was creating a new slot for myself. By the time I realized my mistake, his entire progress was gone. Mike was understandably livid when he found out. He explained how he'd painstakingly completed challenging parts of the game, and my mistake had undone all his effort. I apologized profusely and even offered to buy him a new game or help him replay parts of it, but he said it wasn't the same. Some of our friends believe it was just an unfortunate accident on my part, while others think I should have been more careful, given how much time Mike invested in the game. I genuinely thought I was setting up my own save slot and had no intention of erasing his accomplishments. But seeing how hurt and upset Mike is, I'm starting to feel like my negligence might make me the asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole?
No, no.
I don't think he's the asshole, but goddamn does that hurt.
I mean, it does paint a picture of his negligence in some way. Like, what? I feel like it's kind of clear when you're overwriting.
Well,
It's pretty clear.
it is pretty clear. Also, what's I don't know which gaming console, but I don't know why they didn't just make separate accounts on the console.
Oh, like the login?
You have different.
Yeah, but if you buy the game on one profile,
Oh, if it's downloaded.
So here's a bunch of context. Someone wrote a novel in the comments.
Okay. Oh boy.
You're the asshole. We've both been avid gamers for years with a shared love of RPGs. When we decided to live together, we pooled our resources to get the latest gaming console and some shared titles. And a lot of not the asshole voters here don't seem to understand why this part is significant. The way the Xbox One / Series and PlayStation 4 / 5 and Nintendo Switch, all platforms that The Witcher 3 work on, are designed in a way to negate the need to use someone else's account to play any games. The days of having designated save slots for different people sharing a console died in 2013. On all modern gaming consoles, even if one person digitally purchases a game on a console, all consoles are set up so that any other account can play that game and enjoy it with zero interference with any of the save data of anyone else. Everyone has their own free account and gets access to only their own saves.
if it's downloaded,
I think so.
I don't know
This
about
comes from
that.
2023 too. So this is a PS5.
It might be true. It might download to the console. I just haven't checked, but
By being in a position to delete Mike's saves, it implies that you are playing on Mike's account instead of your own free account, whether it be a PSN or Xbox or Nintendo profile. This is simply negligent. I'd give you a pass if you just didn't know any better, but you describe yourself and Mike as avid gamers, and this is how console games have worked for over a decade. So you should have absolutely known better. This is just complete negligence on your part. You are absolutely the asshole in this situation. Get your own account and leave Mike's saves alone.
I think, yeah, he definitely probably didn't change. At the very least, he didn't change over to his account. But still, like, if he hit new game and then it asked if he wanted to, like, if he was going to save, it would have shown all the different saved games. And it shows a little window of what's been played. It tells you how many hours has been played on that. And he could have very easily hit new save, like saved on a new slot. Well, I'm guessing what he probably did was he might have saved like what I did with The Witcher, because you make decisions that can change, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if this decision is going to be good, so I'll save here and I'll save here and I'll maybe go back to this save. So I'll have multiple saves running.
Right.
So maybe he created multiple saves. Maybe he didn't realize. I don't know. I think it was definitely negligent.
It's definitely negligent knowing how Witcher 3 works too with saves. Someone said, info, how did this actually happen? Do you not have your own game profiles on the console? That's why game profiles exist, to stop exactly this problem. Someone else said, not to mention Witcher 3 asks before it deletes a save.
Yeah.
You have to accept before it will proceed. So no matter way it shakes,
Yeah.
I feel like he had a moment and honestly, they're in college, maybe he was high. Like
Yeah.
that's honest to God, like my
That's
assumption.
true.
Like you weren't thinking
right.
right.
It just be on autopilot, just clicking.
Yeah, and it's like reading
Yeah.
terms of service, like that thing that pops up that says, "Are you sure?" You're just like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I think that's probably what the real issue was, and it's not even that he deleted the file necessarily as much as just that he just didn't care enough. He didn't necessarily respect the game.
Yeah. OP put in the comments, look, I fully acknowledge I messed up and I feel bad about it, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. I get the time investment and I respect that, but it's not like I did it on purpose. We all make mistakes, and while I wish I could take it back, it's essential for us to keep perspective and remember it's a digital world, not the real one. I hope we can move past this. 402 downvotes.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, saying like it's just a game like negates like the fun and the experiences and the story that guy was creating in that game. And now it's all gone. So now that guy has to then play the same like annoying parts, like,
Yeah.
and a lot of people didn't like a lot of people thought the combat in The Witcher 3 was like kind of lame, and so it's like, you know, there's parts of it that are kind of they're
A bit of a slog.
a bit of a slog, and to have to go through all that again, I wouldn't do it. I would just be like angry and bitter.
Well, and also what he's saying there is like, it's just a game, but you're also disrespecting your friend's time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's 100 hours, and it's something that they invested in.
For sure.
whether you think that time investment is just a game or just something silly, it's like, hey man, he put time in that. That's huge.
And I think OP is getting caught up on their intention. Like, they didn't intend to hurt them. And I think that they're like, I didn't mean to hurt him. It's not a real thing. Don't treat me like it's like I actually hurt you in like a physical way. But yeah, when you break it down to the amount of time, it's really about respect.
Right.
And it's that he didn't respect him enough to care.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to get caught up on intention and then start making excuses to be like, well, it's not even a real thing. Like, it's like I wasn't trying to hurt him. And
Right.
it's more than that.
That I was gonna say, up until that comment, I was like, he's not necessarily the asshole, like, because he's offering like, hey, I'll buy you a game. I'm so sorry, like, but stuff like this comment is like, hey man, all right, don't now disrespect the situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
acknowledge that you messed up. But it's a bummer. Last comment here. You're the asshole. He invested 100 hours of work into something. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters how important it was to him. Was it a mistake? Yes. But I've seen you downplay his efforts with, it's only a game. And that isn't really the point at all. The point is the value to him, not to you. And that is why you're the asshole here. Someone else said, I agree 100%. Like, at the end of the day, OP, you are not a major asshole or a raging asshole, and it truly seems like a massive accident that you are actively trying to resolve, which is great, but to call yourself an avid gamer and then just dismiss a game your friend has spent 100+ hours in as simply just a game is quite wild. You should know that games can be a massive amount of joy for people. Seeing you try to downplay that makes you the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way to resolve or fix it entirely, but it does feel like OP could have taken ownership of the situation and
Yeah.
said, basically, I'm sorry, and I realize that, regardless of my intention, I hurt you, I disrespected you, and I'm gonna be, doing everything I can to show you that I do respect you despite my actions.
Right.
But instead of going that route, he was like, defending himself, like, but it was just a game. It doesn't matter that much. If you really think about it, it's just digital.
Yeah, it is a flip from being like, I'm an avid gamer and I love RPGs too. It's just a game. Actually, it actually doesn't matter and it's stupid.
OP said,
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
This definitely hits home for me, and this is my fault. But I played The Witcher 3 up until like literally I was about to do like the final chapter, but I was like, I'm gonna get all these side quests done. Kind of got burnt out. I stopped playing it, and then I forget exactly what happened. I think I got a new console, or something happened, and I might have accidentally overwrote my save, and I lost all of it. And I was just like, ah.
Did you replay it?
No,
No,
that game specifically can't. Skyrim, I would do it because there's like different things, but
Yeah.
Witcher 3 is an awesome game, but to replay it, it's so
very
much.
expansive.
It's a slog, right?
It's very cinematic, which is cool, but it makes replaying it like, all right, I gotta really invest in this. And I don't, you spend 100 hours on something new, to spend 100 hours on something you've already done,
Yeah.
that's a whole other
But have you
beast.
played the expansions?
I never got to Blood and Wine. I never, and I hear it's
You don't
the
even
best.
need to play the actual
I
base
know. Maybe I will at some point.
game. Feel good.
Hey, your tattoo artists. Okay, so this is a story that the OP knows about someone else.
Okay.
A real story.
This happened when I was young. I heard it secondhand from my grandmother, who lived with the main character of this story's cast. My uncle's ex-girlfriend was an all-around horrible person. Abusive babysitter, got my uncle into bad crowds and legal trouble, and dabbled in so many substances from A to Z. She was also heavily tatted. There was an artist, the star of the story, who was a family friend. Great dude, insane work. She asked him to do a piece for her. Huge, intricate angel wings. Oh, the irony. Across her back. He agrees. It takes several sessions across weeks. She repeatedly has to postpone payment, but he's chill, family friend, yada yada. Until it comes to the last session, when it slips that she still doesn't have the money, and more importantly, won't have the money like ever. Now, the pro revenge. No collection agency, no refusal to continue. He smiles, waves it off, says he'll finish it up, no charge. It's gonna be a great piece, legendary. One for the history books, he guarantees. She's stoked. So right between those gorgeous wings, right up her spine, this idiot now has a massive veiny male appendage proudly standing at attention up her spine. She saw it in the mirror when he finished, and she was livid. But hey, what's she gonna do? She didn't pay him and wasn't going to pay him and expected hours and hours of work. You give a lot of trust to someone when they take a needle to your skin to lay down something permanent. Don't stiff your artists.
So she has a dick with wings on her back?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is wild.
Angel d.
To be honest, though, that takes a lot of guts to be like, you got it, no worries. Couldn't she feel it on her body?
It's just, no, it's actually, have you ever played that game where someone writes a letter, writes a word on your back? It's really hard to
They
tell.
do it in a lot of rom-coms, and they're like, love you.
What I like is that the veiny penis was probably more difficult than the wings.
But wasn't she like, what part of the wing is that?
Oh, it's the veiny penis part.
It's the part of the wings.
Holy shit. Wait, but they're family friends.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. No, not anymore. Well, they weren't going to be anymore because she wasn't going to pay him.
Also, like, how do you live with yourself by, like, you know, doing, like, having this person do so much work on you?
You got to be in a spot to be pulling that up.
I'm kind of shocked that the.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It wasn't the shitty lady's friend. It was her boyfriend's friend.
So he's doing a favor.
so the
by being
boyfriend-
like,
Yeah, but the
"All right."
boyfriend was really like influenced by her, and he would get into trouble because of her, and she's just a bad influence and bad. She was a cyclone of badness.
Is there an update on their relationship?
There's no update on this, but there's some comments. Don't stiff your artists because they will stiff you. In this case, quite literally. Someone said, he is letting the world know what kind of person she is. And someone responded, angel. Talk about art for exposure. Yeah. Damn. Oh, yeah. That's wild.
That sucks. Because now, if she wants to get it removed, now she's going to have to pay the money.
Yeah, look, Reddit has definitely shown me, and I mean, it's a lesson I feel like we should all know of just pay people for the work that you hire them
Yeah.
for. What I've seen a lot of on Reddit is people who hire contractors or construction workers to do work on their house. And then once the work's all done, they're like, oh, we can't pay you or we're not gonna pay you as much. And then there's videos of them coming back to their house and just tearing it down. It's like, yeah, it's like if we build a patio for you and then you say, oh, can't pay you.
Right.
They have the right to
Goodbye.
tear down their work that they just did.
I think it's really hard. I think boundaries really get crossed when family friends do like labor favors. Like I feel like that gets really, really tricky. Like even with even with wedding stuff. Like when I just got married, a lot of friends volunteered to like help out and stuff. But it was like I was like writing it down and making sure like okay.
Everyone's got to get paid.
Or everyone's got to get paid, or everyone has to get, or is this really like a wedding gift? Like,
Right.
And luckily, like it was, and it was great, and people got paid, and some of it was gift. But like, I think you have to be so careful.
It's hard.
I have a cousin who's an artist, and I've like commissioned work from him, and like he gave me a discount, but I definitely still am like, if I'm buying art or purchasing something or a service from someone, even if they're a good friend or family member, nowadays I have the mindset of like, I'm just gonna go into it like, I'm paying, this is a full-on just deal.
Right.
There's no expectations of getting something. I kind of am a believer of that. And I almost don't like when someone's like, oh, I'll give you a discount or I'll do it for free. I'm like, no.
I don't know.
No,
No
let's just
free.
do it. Let's just do the thing.
it's never free. You know what I mean?
It's never free.
You always owe them back.
It's just
at
easier to
some
just be like,
point.
I'll just pay for it.
Right.
You know?
Because then also it's like the person that, it's like, okay, let's say like, oh, I'll sit on this couch with you, Amanda, for free. I'll do you that favor.
Thanks.
It's like, but if you're like, no, I'll pay you, then I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna really sit on this couch. I'm
Okay.
more motivated to like do the thing
Yeah.
if you're getting
So
paid.
you do want that money.
So I do want that money, yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me to Venmo Tommy after this episode.
An added thing to this, though, and I'm not versed on tattoos at all. I've never had a tattoo. A lot of comments are saying that what he did to her is very illegal.
Oh.
Which
That's-
I don't actually know. I can see it now that if he's putting something on her body that she did not agree to,
Right.
that is also murky.
But she didn't pay
Yeah.
I don't
for
know.
his services.
This is really bad news for all the I've drawn around Smosh.
That's been you? It just says Tommy underneath.
Look, I wish I could. That's what a lot of comments are saying, that what he did was illegal. So there's just a lot of layers to this. I'm not versed in it. This is not a legal episode. We'll get a lawyer on one of these episodes.
Yeah, you guys should. That would be fun.
We'll get a lawyer on here at some point
I
soon.
think that would
That'd
be
be cool if you
smart.
did
Maybe
that
we
and-
have that planned.
I don't think so. I don't think
Anyways,
we
That'd
have
be
it
crazy if
planned.
that happened in like 3 hours.
That'd be so insane.
Yeah, that would be so weird, but
Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for making fun of my boyfriend's penis?
Ooh, I'm excited, but I'm scared.
Ooh. Okay.
I've made fun of my boyfriend's, I don't have a boyfriend now, but in the past I've made fun of a boyfriend's penis.
Okay, we're off to a start.
Okay, the head was really big and it looked like Darth Vader's head. So it was like,
Okay. Up front, my boyfriend has an awesome penis. It's not huge or anything, about 7 inches, we measured, and fairly girthy, but it is really, really even comically small when it's flaccid, like 2 inches. In the privacy of our relationship, I playfully make fun of it all the time, and he doesn't mind because he knows that he pleases me in bed. However, he has complained in the past about how much he hates locker room moments, when other dudes see it and assume he is hung like a grape, even though he is not. So the other night, we were having dinner with friends and played a game where we pulled word cues out of a hat. One of the cues was something like, things that are short, and I wrote down, my boyfriend's penis. They were, damn. They were all read aloud, and when it's revealed that I wrote that particular answer, the room explodes in laughter. My boyfriend tries to brush it off, oh, you got me, haha, and laughs with everyone else. Then one of my boyfriend's male friends, who he goes to the gym with, slaps him on the back and tells him, oh, we've all seen it, we still love you, bro. More laughter. After we get back to his place, my boyfriend tells me that it bothers him that his friends think of him as the small guy because all they had seen is his flaccid penis in the locker room. He said that they've made fun of him in the past and he has to brush it off for years because he feels that denying it would make a bigger deal out of it than it is and has has to silently take it. He said that by making that joke, all I have done was reinforce the perception that it will just fuel the teasing. He wasn't mad, just disappointed. He said that he would never make fun of me if I had something unappealing about my body because he would never want to give me a negative impression about myself, that he would tell me I was beautiful no matter what. I felt really, really bad when he said that. I have apologized and things are fine now, but I think that maybe he is blowing this out of proportion. Am I the asshole or should he maybe not take this so seriously?
oh, it's complicated.
It's a pretty complicated one. I do remember this now.
It's very complicated.
Yeah.
Is it?
It is kind of complicated, yes, because there's trust in the relationship, and there's self-image and body image, and he's feeling inadequate, and she's helping to this inadequacy, even though it's not true, but the perception is true of him and his friends. And there's also like, he's like, I would never do that to you, so why would you do that to me?
Yeah.
I want to be treated the way
Yeah.
right? And these people who like maybe are growers, and then he's like, nah, you little, they're just trying to team up on him, and he feels ganged up on.
Yeah.
And she's adding to this. He's like, no, you're supposed to be in my corner. We're together. We're a team in this.
Yeah.
And you're also helping them. Don't do that. Have my back. Even if he had a small, even if he wasn't a grower, tell him I'm a shower. You're in my corner. You're the one who knows. Tell everyone I'm a shower. Just show it off. Show off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But then there's also like, take a joke. Like you say you have a 7-inch. You got it. You don't need to show. You don't need it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Not you doing this.
Like go. Like that's a perfectly sized. 7 inches is perfect. You have nothing to prove. You have a girlfriend that loves you. Who cares? Get over it.
Yeah, I guess.
You are Knuff.
You are Knuff. I just think in most situations, I feel like going back to like rules, I think a good rule to have, unless you really are a couple who has established that this is not necessary and you're both cool with it, making fun of your partner's genitals in front of a bunch of people is probably 99 times out of 100 not good. Like, not gonna go over well. I also we do a ton of comedy here at Smosh, and we've done it for years. I kind of, for myself, have just learned, jokes about people's bodies just rarely good.
No.
Rarely go well, and most of the time hurt someone. So it's because it's just something you can't change.
There's such a way to do it too.
Yes.
I think I made a short to you joke even about you, about a couple people at Smosh, but there's such a finesse, you have to do it in such a joking way that you're like,
there also has to be, it depends on the conversation, because I bring that stuff up, right? I make that joke and I own it, and if we're in that space and it's coming, there still has an element of respect in it.
Trust too.
But, and that's also, this is as vulnerable as it gets in this story, right? It's really, and as a dude, I mean, it's just the most intense thing.
Yeah,
well, it's also, this is one of those things, it's similar to, I'm sure there's comparisons for women, but it is really one of those strange things where it almost matters because it's in front of a bunch of bros.
Yes.
Strangely, a
course.
straight man in front of his bros almost matters more than if you're in a room full of women, because it's oh, dude, I don't want my bros to know that.
That's what it felt like it mattered when the friend piled on.
That's
Not when
what
she
really-
did
That's when-
something.
yeah.
It was when his buddy. So that was my question. What's going on in these locker rooms, really?
He's just not,
So what's
he's not hard, so it's not big, so they only see it when it's small.
Yeah.
They're not
Are you
really,
And they're making
looking
fun
no,
of
they're
it.
not really looking, but you can kind of, when someone is hanging, you're gonna see it. If it's just little, it's little. It's just you can't not, it's peripheries. It's I can see
Yeah.
computer over there. I can see
Yeah,
Shane.
yeah.
I can see
And you're
things.
Right.
talking and
You're talking, you're doing shit.
Yeah.
And so I get what he's saying. They always think it's small.
But
He never
is-
told
yeah.
her that they've ever made jokes, so that might have been the first moment.
But then
And
they
that's-
pile on when she makes that
Yeah.
joke and he goes, "We've seen it," or something like that.
I think what probably hurt him is he was it's one of those things where you know what people might be thinking, but it gets solidified, and he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, all my friends probably think I have a small penis."
Yeah.
And then in that moment they go, "We all think you have a small penis," and he's going, "Okay, now there's no doubt. I have to now."
It could have been before, that's in my head. They're not even looking at my dick.
She had a moment there where she could have been like, "Well, his penis, we call it Bruce Banner because it turns into the hole."
Boom! He's a grower, not a
just
shower.
do something
Boom!
like that. Have that moment, yes, make that joke, but then also recognize the situation
Yeah.
and go, "Oh, but let me ollie
Oh,
you
but let me be
this."
clear.
Yeah. But yeah, to just leave it there sucks.
Brutal.
It's pretty brutal.
She left him hanging.
And it wasn't, it wasn't really a tee up that was her only option. It's things that are short, and she just threw that out there. It's you didn't have to. It's I get it if he was making a joke.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Aha, yeah, whatever." But if he was saying jokes on that level, then yeah, then you've entered that arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't help but think if he made a joke about her body.
That's what I mean. Just jokes about people's bodies is
Yeah.
really.
It's not okay.
Really
He did say he
intense.
didn't. He did say I would never say these things
Yeah,
to her or
he
treat her
said-
that way.
That's what I'm saying. It's just not okay. Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
established from this story that he did not say anything.
Yeah.
It's also just not clever to me anymore.
No.
It's just yeah, okay, cool.
It has-
Every single dick joke was made 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So, anyways, comments here. Very much you're the asshole, and how dare you claim he's overreacting, considering he seemed to react very calmly and reasonably and was quick to forgive you, considering how incredibly out of line you were. Someone else said, "You're the asshole. He wasn't blowing things out of proportion. Never insult your partner's looks, jokingly or not, and definitely don't do it in front of all of his friends. I get playful banter at home, but doing it in front of his friends is just straight up mean." Someone else said, "You're the asshole. Penis size is an incredibly sensitive topic for many guys for various reasons. Making fun of your SO publicly about something he has already admitted being insecure, upset about, lacks some tact and empathy on your part. But it's not it's not an end of the world situation. This is just a learning moment. Build up his confidence, boast about your man to others, and be openly proud of him. Or just don't talk about his dick to other people." Yeah, I think I agree with that. All right, next one. Am I the asshole for telling my wife to stop crying at Home Depot?
At Home Depot?
Specifically at Home Depot.
I'm wondering if he said, "Stop crying at Home Depot."
I thought you were gonna say stop crying at Home Depot ads.
That's funny. You're just so good. My wife, a 27-year-old woman. Sorry, it got me. My wife, a 27-year-old woman. My wife, a 27-year-old woman, and I, a 27-year-old man, have been making trips to Home Depot to renovate our backyard. It's become a little date for us, and we enjoy the quality time. In March of 2022, my father-in-law suddenly passed away from a heart attack. I am very close with my wife's family and supported her through the grieving process. On Sunday, my wife insisted I skip NFL and go to Home Depot with her, as our order was ready for pickup. When we got to Home Depot, there was an extremely long lineup, so I'm already annoyed having to wait. Out of absolutely nowhere, my wife starts tearing up and crying in the middle of this long line. I ask her what's wrong, and she quietly tells me that the gentleman at the end of the line reminds her of her late father, my father-in-law, and she became very emotional and continues to cry. I got upset/embarrassed and told her to quit being so random since it's weird. Sorry.
Stop being random.
Did you say so random? That's a tagline right there for you, Shayne.
I know. I got upset/embarrassed and told her to quit being so random since it's a weird reason to cry, especially because the gentleman looks absolutely nothing like her father. I then told her she is tripping out for no reason and she ruined the vibe for Home Depot dates. On the car ride home, she called me insensitive and said it's not my right to talk about her father, even though it was obvious the Home Depot customer/employee looked nothing like my father-in-law. If it was a doppelganger, I would understand.
Bro.
What?
Dude. Oh my God.
Stop grieving, bro. We're in a Home Depot on a date.
So her father passed away a little over a year ago, maybe close to a year and a half ago. So, I mean, in my mind, for a lot of people, that's still very fresh.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your father. And you know, things work differently for different people. Yeah.
Sure.
To him, maybe it didn't look anything like
Yeah.
it. But for her, you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that she was reminded of her father, and he just said, "Nuh-uh."
No, he doesn't.
You're not reminded of him.
Yeah.
You know what? You know that there's always like subtle things in stories. The one that makes me just know this guy is the asshole is on Sunday, my wife insisted I skip NFL and go to Home Depot. I'm like, that's not necessary to this
You
story.
wouldn't do that, Mr. Broncos boy?
I would skip NFL.
Wow.
I could skip NFL.
Big fan.
I'll just read about it at the end of the day.
Did he say ruining the vibe of the date?
Yeah, you ruined the vibe of Home Depot dates.
The one that you had to beg me to skip some other shit for that I...
Yeah, the one I didn't even want to go to in the first place. It's so insane.
Also,
man.
I'm just now learning you can order like your Home Depot stuff ahead of time
and
just
pick it up. Or maybe they placed an order that like maybe they got some stuff.
Oh, it
they're
gets, like,
oh,
shipped to
we
Home
have to like get it ready, so it'll be ready in a couple days. So you come back and pick it up, maybe because it's a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah, and if you order online, there are some things where it'll say delivering to the closest store.
Oh,
You can do that at IKEA.
Oh, actually, never mind. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I do that all the time. Yeah, actually, I'm doing that right now. Some comments here. Not the asshole, obviously. How dare she embarrass you in front of random strangers at the Home Depot? At Lowe's, I could understand. Fuck 'em. But Home Depot? No. Your standing there is much more important than her feelings. And it's not like you didn't comfort her. You correctly explained that the factual basis of her sadness was wrong. So at that point, she really should have changed her feelings back to happy, as we all can do. You're the asshole.
That's very funny.
Okay.
I love that.
It's like, obviously he's not thinking about what is the outcome going to be if I say this, but I'm just thinking in his head, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna tell her she doesn't look like her dad, and she's gonna be like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm good.
No, he was like clearly embarrassed.
It was a
And-
matter of him being embarrassed
Yeah.
and wanting to protect his own embarrassment.
Dude, it's Home Depot. Like, who cares, man?
You're never gonna see any of these people. Oh wait,
no-
maybe they go there every
They're
Sunday.
on their Home Depot date.
Yeah, there's no crying in Home Depot.
Yeah, you
Pretty sure they have
cannot
a sign.
Cry at Home Depot.
Yeah.
You could just be like, oh, I got some sawdust in my eye. How are women marrying men with such horrifyingly low levels of empathy? Imagine breaking down over your father who passed away and your partner saying you're being random and ruining the vibes. I don't even have words for how much of an asshole you are. Yeah, the saying so random is very funny.
So random.
That's
It
the
is very
most silly circumstance to say so random to someone.
And it's not random at all. She explained exactly why she was crying.
Yeah, it's not.
He's like, he thinks it's random because it's been a year already. Get
over it. He's
I'm
not coming
over it.
back.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't even miss him anymore.
Yeah, for him to be like, I comforted her through her grieving process. Like, grieving just ends after like 6 months.
It's like the process ended.
Yeah, it's over. That guy is like at least like 20 pounds heavier than your dad. Looks nothing like him.
That guy's way handsomer than your dad.
Yeah.
I mean, his wife was she was so respectful still, saying that he was disrespectful. Like, she could have blown up on him, said, you're an asshole. I'm still grieving. Like, you don't have any right to tell me if I should or shouldn't be grieving at any given moment.
Right.
But she just says you're disrespectful. Like,
Yeah, she was actually being very civil in response.
And then this OP, he's going on here hoping that some people are going to be like, you're right, bro.
Nice, dude. What a loser. Also, putting myself in that space, if I'm out anywhere and I see someone crying, I don't think like, what a loser! Like, oh, how embarrassing you're crying.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. If I see someone crying, I usually am like, if they're with someone else who's comforting them, I'm gonna be like, all right, like, not my business.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully what most of those people at that Home Depot were thinking. Like,
Right. I wonder if he was like, dang, I have to comfort her. This is gonna, like.
Sorry, you're sorry. Like,
I doubt anybody noticed.
That's true.
that's also true.
Like, it's not like she was like, I'm sure she wasn't like, ah! Like, I'm sure she was just like, crying.
It's one of those situations where, and I mean, maybe it's sad to say, but I'm like, people don't care as much as you think they do.
Yeah.
Oh.
People are at Home Depot, they probably are stressed trying to get their shit done.
Yeah.
And that's what they're focused on. They used to be like, oh, she's crying. I wonder what she's crying about. Anyways, I got these 2x4s I gotta buy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm worried about. Someone else said, I hope you're trolling, especially with the vibe comment. You're the asshole. Grief hits at different times and anything can trigger it. It doesn't have to be logical. Even if the guy didn't resemble her dad, it reminded her of him in some way. It could be as little as a mannerism, a walk, or how they were standing, and it brought forth emotions. Have some empathy and compassion. OP, in response to a now deleted comment, thank you. I understand I was insensitive, but these comments are also making me think I was indeed being a huge asshole. 44 downvotes.
Oh.
Which, I mean, hey, he was acknowledging he's being an asshole.
Sure.
It's the best you can do, I guess.
No, he says, making me think, maybe,
Making me
kind of,
think
sort of.
maybe.
Also, like, at least I was thinking about this guy in comparison to the gay wedding woman, where, like, at least he explained every part of it.
Sure.
And then we just like immediately knew the whole situation.
Yeah.
Whereas like the gay wedding woman was like, I sing a song.
So, like a self-aware asshole in denial.
Yeah.
Rather
Kind of,
than,
yeah.
Maybe he was sitting there going, maybe I'm the one who's so random.
No shade. You're
so random.
Thanks, guys. Had the roommate from hell and couldn't get rid of her, so I made living with me as miserable as possible.
I don't know if I like that.
All right, let's see. Roommate stuff is always the murkiest, blurriest thing.
Home is your
ever.
sacred space, man.
All right. This happened in 2008 to 2009.
Oh, God.
So that means they were wearing short sleeve shirts over long sleeve shirts. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
This happened in 2008 to 2009, but I thought this community would appreciate the story. In 2008, I had just left my husband. I caught him cheating multiple times, and I was just over it. A new girl, we will call her Amy, started at my job, and we made a fast friendship. I was in the middle of packing up and moving out of my house. I needed a roommate for a new apartment I was looking at because my wages weren't going to pay the bills. So we moved in together and lived peacefully together for a while. I was moving on with my life. I had gotten a better paying job, was spending time with my friends, and I felt okay with life at the time. At the time, I was 25, single, and not looking for anything serious, so I had a friends with benefits who would stop over a few times a week. Amy was cool with it on the surface. It did not affect her in any way. My friend didn't hang out at our place. He didn't eat at our place. He didn't use our household supplies. Okay. My relationship with him affected her exactly 0%. But I guess she was a little green about the fact that I was getting some attention and she was not. She would flirt with him, go visit him where he worked, etc., but he was absolutely not interested in her. This is where things started to go downhill. For context, she had been married a few times. She was 13 years older than me, and the dads had full custody of their respective kids. She was dating someone, but he was already in a relationship, so he wasn't about to commit to anything besides stopping by for 30 minutes after he worked the night shift every day. I tried to point out all the red flags, but she was convinced it was love. This dude used to hit on me constantly in front of her. He was very open about being in a committed relationship with his girlfriend, so I have no idea why Amy thought this was going anywhere. After a few months, I met someone I wanted to be serious with, so we started dating. We will call the guy Tom. Tom and I got serious pretty fast. He was living in a horrible situation, so he moved in with Amy and I pretty quickly. I think it was after about a month of dating. So we have our room and she has her own room. The bills went from 50-50 to 33-34 to make sure things were still even. We had a shared kitchen, living room, and bathroom. After Tom moved in, she started openly hitting on him in front of me. Every guy I had at my house, even just friends, she had to hit on. None of them ever took her up on it. Every single one turned her down, and I think this added greatly to her oncoming behavior. Over the next couple weeks, Amy did a complete 180. She stopped paying rent, refused to buy any food, and would just eat whatever Tom and I bought, and not wash her dishes. We had 2 cats, one hers and one mine, and she would never clean the litter in her room, so her cat would use our hallway floor as a bathroom every single day. Every day when I got home from work, there was a big steaming pile of cat shit right inside my front door, sitting in the middle of a giant puddle of urine. My cat was locked in my room at night with her own supplies, so there was zero chance it was her. It was the same thing every morning by the front door. Whenever she was done eating the food she stole from me, she would set her plate with leftovers on the kitchen floor for her cat to pick at. She would leave the plate there for days, to the point that if I didn't pick them up, there would be multiple plates on the floor with food in various stages of decay. All of my dishes started going missing, except for the cat's plates, of course. And what dishes were left, she refused to wash ever. She used my toilet paper, my laundry soap, even my tampons. This went on for about 2 months, and it just kept getting progressively worse. She would use panty liners every day and would change them multiple times a day and stuff them in the garbage can in the bathroom. She would leave it there completely overflowing and spilling onto the floor for days until I caved and put on gloves and threw them out. The can would be full in about a week, so this happened a few times. That's not even the worst of it. My expensive DSLR went missing. I was a photography hobbyist at the time, but it was my dream to be a professional photographer and own my own photography business. I would shoot stuff for friends and family as practice, and one day I grabbed my camera bag from the shared living room, and as soon as I picked it up, I felt my heart sink in my stomach. You know that instant dread that grips you in the second you realize something truly gut-wrenching has happened? I opened the bag, and of course the camera is gone. That was an expensive camera for that time of my life, and it was a gift from my parents, so I was truly devastated. I couldn't prove a thing, and I wasn't even sure how long it had been missing. It could have been her boyfriend that took it, but either way, it was gone. So now this is it. This is the last straw. I need this bitch out. I went from nice girl to fucking psycho in about 30 seconds. I'm not the violent type, and I hate confrontation. I'm not waiting for a fucking eviction to go through, and I really didn't have the money for that anyway. So here's where I start my petty revenge. Amy wants to live here with me rent-free, stealing my shit, hitting on my boyfriend, and neglecting her cat. So be it. But it's going to be on my fucking terms.
Obsessed.
One vital piece of information. In my divorce, the dickhead moved back in with my mommy. Damn.
My mommy.
One vital piece of information. In my divorce, the dickhead moved back in with mommy, and I took everything from the house to my new apartment, so I owned everything, and the lease was in my name. I started by changing the Wi-Fi password and the computer password. The following week, I had my cable company come and remove the cable lines to her room. I bought a small fridge for my room and a cabinet and put all my food and personal supplies in my bedroom and put a secure lock on my door. I hid my pots and pans. I locked up the soap and toilet paper. The cabinets were empty. I paid for it all, and I would be the only one using it. When her cat shit on the floor, I would pick it up and smear it on her bedroom doorknob. Overflowing bathroom trash cans filled to the brim with her panty liners were dumped on her bed. I removed the knobs to the washer and the dryer. I did everything possible to make her life uncomfortable. I did other small stuff, anything that came to mind. A few months prior, Amy and I had been working at the same store and she borrowed another coworker's laptop. She ended up getting fired, but she never gave the laptop back and the coworker was really trying to get it back from her. Amy ghosted her, of course, so while she was out one day, I went in and took the laptop and gave it back to its rightful owner. Amy called the cops on me and said I stole her computer, but I explained what happened. She admitted to the cops that the computer wasn't hers and the cops said it wasn't their problem anymore. That one really made her hate me. She wasn't working at the time, so it's not like she had money to do anything or buy anything. She was literally just existing in a room in my apartment. She would disappear during the day, but I have no idea where she was going. She moved out after about 6 weeks. When she moved out of my apartment, I didn't even know she had left. I just noticed she wasn't coming or going for about a week. So Tom and I cleaned out her room. She left clothes, broken furniture, a cardboard dresser, and 5 39-gallon garbage bags of trash we collected from the mass piles of panty liners, rotting food, and ordinary trash we found in the room. It's a miracle we didn't have roaches. I found all my missing dishes, silverware, and cups all covered in food and grossness. I just threw it all away. I wish I still had the photos, though. Oddly enough, about 6 months later, I opened my back door to take out the trash, and my camera was in a bag hanging from my doorknob. I know Amy definitely didn't return it. For about 2 years after, every time I would find out that Amy was living with someone new, I would message them and send them the photos of her room, papers in the trash that had her name on them, and I would tell them the whole story. One time, it caused the people she was living with to throw her shit out on the porch. She had just moved in, and they had small kids, and they didn't want to risk it with her. I stopped after that. She knew it was me telling them too, so I figured I had sufficiently made my point. Edit, she took the cat with her, but not before she threw my cat outside. My cat was missing for 10 days.
No.
This is horrific.
That
This is under
is
petty?
a nightmare.
Real quick, camera. Never got returned?
She got, no, it showed up
came
on
back.
her back porch on the doorknob. It was hanging from the doorknob. Someone returned the camera, but she doesn't think it was Amy.
So maybe
Boyfriend.
maybe they fell out, and then the boyfriend was like, "I know you stole that camera," and then like returned it.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this chick lasted 6 weeks of what the other woman was doing to her. Well, they both lasted a really long
what
time.
she was doing to herself also, though.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
Locking up all her stuff,
I mean,
smearing
she
poop
became,
every day.
She just sounds like overnight she became a hoarder. Like, really, her room was filled with stuff. She wasn't cleaning anything. It just, nightmare fuel.
I never understand when people like snap.
Snap. I was just
know,
going
it
to say
happens.
that.
I'm like, but this?
That's a snap.
I would be like,
Now you're
I'd be like,
Well, it's a snap. It's a snap
Yeah.
that maybe you could see coming.
Right.
You know, it's not like she was perfect before,
right.
but she suddenly really.
I don't mean Amy. I mean the poster.
Oh.
You
like mean
over
like
time
she was like.
Yeah, she was just like, okay, well then I guess I'm gonna smear shit on her wall.
Yeah.
It's like I get it.
She kind of like didn't go to her level, but I think she just got so used to living in that shit that she's like, all right,
I'll do that.
I have become one with the shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can smear shit on your wall now. Like,
The panty liners, to me, I've moved so much in LA that you really don't know who a person is until you live with them. I've lived with some really intense people in my life, and it gets really scary and really weird, and people let really gross stuff go on for long periods of time.
Too long.
Too long, where it
Yeah.
gets to a point where you're like, well, this is just my life now.
Yeah.
And then I think it's probably when you finally reach out to someone and say, hey, I've been living in this situation, and the person goes, what? That they go, oh, shoot.
Yeah, whoever's leaving all this recycling in my one-bedroom apartment in my kitchen, that person's crazy who's ever leaving all that recycling.
That's you, babe.
at least recycling's not gross, though.
Right.
That's cardboard.
But the panty liners, guys.
No, gross
What?
stuff I can't do. I can't do food left out. I can't do any of
The
that.
plates on the ground.
It's on the ground. That's buggy territory. How are you doing that?
Well,
She somehow didn't get roaches.
wait, what
Even
was
the roaches were like, this place is messed up.
It's like, that's a lot of liners.
What was Tom doing?
I don't.
Was he like, good, did you smear the shit today?
He turns around to the bed. He's like, did you go smear the shit?
Yeah. Yeah, I smeared the shit.
I can't
Awesome.
fathom.
And let me just say, Amy is torturing her cat.
Yeah, I know.
That cat's I gotta go shit in the hallway again.
Yeah, it's awful.
Insane, man. 2008 was a different time.
It's true.
I hope Amy I was gonna say in a better place.
There-
I don't mean dead. I mean I
In a
hope-
better place. Not wearing True Religion jeans and like a weird shirt.
Oh, so there's some comments. Perhaps your camera was returned the same way you returned the purloined laptop. They responded, I believe so. And someone else responded, bonus points for using purloined, you magnificent soul. And then someone said, does Tom get her old room or what? And OP responded, no, we got married and had 3 kids.
Aww. That makes sense. He's like, I can have kids with you after what?
Yeah,
we just
after
went-
this?
After this?
Yeah.
Shit is fine.
Like I've touched a bunch of shit. I can keep doing it.
So, someone said, petty, more like masterclass, good job. And then last, someone says, I don't need amusement parks. I just come here for the thrill ride.
Wow.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's a 7-year-old man just like, I don't need them.
I thankfully
letter at a
never,
time?
Yeah.
I thankfully never dealt with a roommate of that. I've definitely dealt with messy roommates, but not.
Never like that.
Oh, I've dealt with some.
Compares to this?
One roommate threatened to punch me in my face, my money-making face. Pretty cool. I was not making that much money back then.
Did they use that phrase?
Yeah, I'm gonna punch you in your money-making face. While on top of that, there was a toilet clogged in this apartment by a guy that was staying there who had the weirdest cough. It felt like he was dying every night. I barely saw him. That toilet remained clogged, like shit out the walls for like weeks.
Oh.
So bad that she was like, who clogged the toilet? And I was like, what do you mean who clogged the toilet?
It's Ben.
It's him.
Him, it's coffee.
And she was like, you gotta clean it. I'm like, I am not touching the shit stain.
Yeah.
So many times I'd be like, I'd have to go use the weird bathroom up like by her room. Guys, that's just times.
The worst thing I'm sure I have some repressed memories, but like the worst thing I've dealt with recently is like the who's gonna take out the trash first stacking challenge.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, I'll just place this on top
Yeah.
and see what
Yeah.
happens.
What about the toilet paper that's on the roll? That's
Oh, that's
sitting on the
top.
roll.
Yeah.
It's like just
that's-
do it.
Anyways, all right.
Wow.
Next story. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend's mother she raised a fucking sociopath who needs to be in a facility? So I, a 26-year-old woman, have a boyfriend who's 24, and recently he got into a dispute with the neighbor's kids. They accidentally kicked their football into our yard, and they came into the garden to get it back. To be honest, I didn't care, but my boyfriend started screaming at these 11-year-olds about how they are poorly raised and their parents should be ashamed. I was fucking mortified. I sent the kids some chocolates and sweets and apologized profusely for his behavior. I was seeing red flags and told him this behavior was not normal. He kind of brushed me off, and I told him if he pulled anything like that again, he was gone. The next week, the ball came into our garden, and I was about to throw it back to the kids when my boyfriend stormed outside and took the ball inside. I told the kids that I would bring it back in a minute. He went into the bathroom and emerged like 10 minutes later wearing gloves and a football covered in shit. His own shit. What the f***? I asked him if he was out of his fucking mind, but he stormed past me and threw it over the fence screaming, "Take that, you bitches."
Shayne.
Okay, just give us a second. Now we're ready. Yeah.
I screamed, and girl, I mean screamed at him about how he was a fucking douche, and I wanted him out of my house, and he is a disgusting fucking monster, that they were just kids. I screamed, and eventually he left. I deleted all his games off his PS4 and gave it to the kids as an apology. I was so embarrassed. My ex-boyfriend's mom messaged me asking what happened, and I responded with, "What happened? What happened?
Yeah, right.
You are a pathetic excuse of a woman who raised a fucking sociopath.
Wait.
Who covered a football in his own shit and threw it at some kids, and he needs to be in a facility because something is wrong with him. And God knows how I hadn't seen any red flags about the fucking monster you raised during the 7 months we dated. I know I am in the right for what I did to my boyfriend, but am I in the wrong for snapping at the mother for something she had no direct involvement in?" So that's poopball. Look, man, I know there's a lot of fake stories on Reddit, This one, I believe, because it's just like the details of it and the way it like is layered and how she's like, I'm not the asshole for this stuff. Am I the asshole for how I reacted to the mom? I'm like, I think this is real, man. And it's nuts. This goes like, dude.
I just, he.
Do you think it was on top of the ball or all around
I think it was
the ball?
all around it.
So he had to put his hands. So
That's why the gloves. That's what the gloves were for.
The gloves, you know what? Somehow, the gloves somehow make it worse for me because I'm like, that makes it more clinical. That makes it more like
Calculated.
calculated. I'm like, he literally was
there
like,
was intent.
There was intent.
I was so mad. I shit on a ball and no. I got gloves from somewhere, probably weren't in the bathroom, and covered a ball in shit.
I'm begging you, I really want to read her monologue as a monologue to her mom. You know what I mean?
What happened?
Okay.
Give it to us.
Thank you. I'm auditioning for the University of Michigan's musical theater program. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to be his ex-boyfriend. Ask me what happened. His ex-boyfriend's mom.
So what happened?
What happened?
No, it's too much already.
Okay.
I don't understand. What happened?
What happened? What happened? You are a pathetic excuse of a woman who raised a f***ing sociopath who covered a football in his own shit and threw it at some kids who needs to be in a facility because something is wrong with him. And God knows how I haven't seen any red flags about the f***ing monster you raised during the 7 months we dated.
And then it cuts back to the theater room of the Oscars, and it's on you, and you're like,
yeah.
Thank you. This doesn't make sense at all. Like,
No,
what
it's
a
really
weird,
bad.
what a weird.
Angela Giratana, poop ball. And the Oscar goes to Octavia Spencer. Thank you.
I botched that because it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
weird.
I think it's more. It's like almost like, are you serious?
Why she's in this to his
You know
mom?
exactly what I think.
I think she's in a bit of shock right now.
The woman is saying, "What happened? Oh, he told you, and you're still taking his side. What happened to me? No. What did he tell you that you're saying what happened? Because you clearly already know something happened."
So I needed to do some scene study before that.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll workshop it.
Some comments. You're the asshole for sending the message because I'm sure she would have maybe understood how angry you were if you came across nicer. But wow, I can't even imagine being in your position. Has he done anything like this before? Edit. I did not mean that OP is the asshole for the entire situation. It's a very soft, you're the asshole. Sorry for any confusion. OP responded, no, I always thought he was calm. It came completely out of the blue. Someone else said, everyone sucks here. Your ex is a madman, and yeah, I'm all for dumping his ass and kicking him out of your house. But his PS4 was not yours to give away, and to be honest, while it's possible that mother did a terrible job raising him, you yelled at her and berated her for stuff her grown-ass adult son did. That's super uncalled for. OP responded, I paid for the PS4.
Woo!
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Come on down to the K. Oh no.
Reminder, he's 24. Like,
oh no.
Fully grown. Someone said, you're the asshole. Sometimes kids grow up to be wonderful because of the parents who raised them, and sometimes they're serial killers. I wouldn't have assumed it was her fault, and now she has reason to say something similar to your mother.
She also, didn't the mom just ask what happened?
Yeah, that's the only context we have is she's just like, hey,
Because
what happened?
that says he is not telling me everything that I need to know, and I'm coming to you. I'm like, I know he might be.
I'd be curious what how the mom texted that or phrased that, because if she just goes, hey, like, you guys broke up, what happened?
Or, yes.
Yeah, or like, you know, as opposed to, what did you do to my son?
Is that what it says?
No, it's just said,
what happened?
She messaged her saying what happened. That's why I'm like, okay, yes.
It should have been a phone call.
But I think she had so much going on in her head.
Yeah, 100%.
You just witnessed a traumatic thing.
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
That's insane. Yeah.
It just needed a little more communication.
Totally.
Again.
It's like, you know, like when you're fighting with your partner and then you have that one moment where you get to be like fucking crazy and irrational and you just like unleash. It happened to his mom. Like, you know, like she didn't do it to him.
Well, she's probably scared of him for good reason.
He covered a ball in shit with gloves.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. If I watch someone cover a ball in shit and throw it at some kids, I'm probably not gonna try to.
No.
I'm probably gonna be like, I'm out of here.
So she was like, let me scold your mom instead of him. Yeah, I get that. I guess.
I don't get that. I mean, I get it, but I don't. Like
I don't, yeah.
It's not the right move.
No.
No. Bro, the perspective of those kids is those kids had a Stranger Things like story. This is a kids on bike situation where they're like, dude, we all experience something together that will bond us for life.
For life.
Yeah.
You're never forgetting the
If an evil
football.
clown comes out of the sewer, they're gonna be like, we got this. We have handled way worse.
They're like,
I mean,
Holy
dude.
shit, when you get this ball.
It's a bit of a gift to those kids. Those kids, they're gonna meet up when they're 40 years old and be like,
poop ball.
poop ball, dude. Yeah, dude. Poop
Like,
ball.
what's up, how are you? Yeah, we've been through this shit.
Concerned my daughter may have caught my husband cheating.
Okay. All right.
Hey.
I was bathing our two daughters, 5 and 2, about a week ago. When I was drying them off, my daughter was talking about being naked and how you're only naked in private and for things like taking a bath. I told her, yes, that's true. Then she said, that lady was naked on Daddy. I was confused. What do you mean? Daddy and that lady were naked there. She pointed to our bed. What the f***? I asked her who the lady was, and she shrugged like she obviously didn't know. I can't think of what possible scenario she could have seen that could have been misconstrued as a naked woman on my husband. My mind was kind of blown, and I can't stop thinking about what she claims she saw. He's on his phone a lot, always texting people. I haven't asked him why he's always has his phone glued to him, even in the shower. I feel uncomfortable demanding he hand over his phone. He gets up very early to go to the gym now. Going to the gym isn't new for him, but he used to go after work. Now sometimes he goes before work and after work, supposedly. He is constantly horny and has been for the past few months. I've asked him what's wrong with him. He says he doesn't know, but it's like he's 18 again and he's constantly getting hard and can't stop thinking about sex. He never had a problem in this area, but he was also never like this. He's become obsessed with sex and constantly wants it. At first, it was flattering, and I felt desired, and he wanted it seemingly from me so often that I never imagined he could be cheating. Now I'm wondering, why did he suddenly go from being a normal man with a normal healthy sex drive to being like a teenage boy? None of these things by itself is super suspicious, other than what my daughter said. She doesn't know anything else and had nothing further to share with me about what she saw or what Daddy was doing, and I don't want to involve her any further. What would you make of this? Do you think I'm being overly suspicious? Should I just come right out and ask him what in the hell our daughter was talking about? I've thought about it, but if he has something to hide, I don't think he'll admit to me that easily. Thank you for any help with this one.
Whew. Oh man.
I don't know why, like the image of like this like 5-year-old girl with like a little like applesauce packet be like, I saw naked mommy and daddy. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know. And just like waddles off while it's like this is like the worst revelation possible.
Either this 5-year-old
Delivered by a 5-year-old.
Either this 5-year-old saw some shit, or this 5-year-old likes to cause drama.
Yeah.
Already learned.
Dude, she's gonna be such a great YouTube prankster in like 10 years.
She's gonna tell her mom in 10 years, you got pranked!
I broke
Oh,
up my
man.
parents' marriage. Awesome. It made my life hell, but it was awesome.
But I got 2 gifts now for Christmas.
2 Christmases achieved.
Bro, you don't need a text in the shower. That's excessive.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird behavior.
It kind of feels like he almost doesn't want his phone to ever not be around him as well. Just in case someone else sees a text coming in from someone.
I'm trying to think of all the possibilities here, and you know, the like jump in sex drive is strange. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's wrong. It's just like she's just like he suddenly out of nowhere is like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what that could be. The like going to the gym before and after work, I'm like, okay, man.
kind of a tell.
As someone who
That's
goes to
a
the
bit.
gym every day, I'm like, that's a lot. there's a specific type of person who does that and you know who they are. But for that to just suddenly be a behavior that you do that's a big leap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you have
Either
a
way,
two-
he's
when
coming
you-
home sweaty.
When you have a two, I do think when you have a 2 and 5-year-old, it's a little. This is my personal opinion. I think it's a little irresponsible as a parent if you're going to the gym before and after work, unless you are literally a professional athlete.
Sure.
I'm like, hey man, that's like an hour or two you could go home and help your wife with a 2 and 5-year-old.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it really does depend on a lot of factors. But yeah, if you're leaving the kids with the wife just so that you can work and go to the gym and be gone all day.
Right.
And you're always on your phone, not paying any attention.
You're on your phone in the shower. yeah, for sure. Water blasting, they can barely hear him. He's yeah, for sure.
I truly don't understand because like when you get water on your phone, you can't like text. Like
I think you have to be talking.
I would assume he just wanted to.
Texting is just really bad.
That's true. I mean, I was assuming that he just wanted to see any notification that came through and kind of didn't want his phone to be out like on a countertop for his wife to see.
Yeah.
It feels like all signs are pointing to something fishy being up.
Yeah, I don't think any one of those things isn't like, oh, they're cheating.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate that like there are things that are suspicious.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of stuff with nowadays with phones is such a thing. Like
I kind of feel bad that she doesn't have someone to talk to.
I know. I don't know if she has any friends that she can like ask. There's some comments here. But how was a kid watching them? Was he supposed to be on duty parenting and he decided to fuck some woman while little kids were napping? If so, ew, that's despicable behavior for any dad. OP responded, this is what makes it hard for me to believe. I don't think my daughter is lying, but she might be confused. I just really cannot imagine him doing something like that in our home with our kids here. They're 5 and 2. He's a very attentive dad. None of our doors have locks and our daughters have walked in on us before. Someone else said, I think you either need to ask him or you need to look at his phone. In my opinion, if you're at the point where you're going to snoop through his phone, then the relationship is done anyways. Because even if you don't find anything, you just proved you don't trust him and invaded his privacy. That is 24 downvotes. I don't know if I think that the relationship's done, but I think when you are that suspicious, like work needs to be done.
Yeah.
Whether something's happening or not, it's like, hey, there's a lack of communication if you are assuming this person could be doing all this stuff behind your back. OP responded to that. I did/do trust him, but it's hard to shake what my daughter said. I can't stop thinking about it. I thought we had a great relationship.
Sounds like he's become very distant in many ways, but then also wanting to just have sex all the time.
Yeah. Lastly here, someone said, is it possible she saw you naked on top of Daddy? OP responded, I feel like I would have noticed if a little one had come into the room when we were doing that. Why would she say she saw a woman she doesn't know? Someone said, it's possible she only got a look through the bedroom door or something, and that might not be enough for her to realize it's you. OP said, it's possible. I never thought I'd be praying that she'd see that, but now I'm praying that's just what she saw. My daughter has seen me naked before in totally appropriate ways, but I can understand how seeing me in that scenario would be totally different, and she would be confused about what we were doing. It's a possibility, I guess. It's just hard to believe that she would think it was another woman.
Yeah, I think like I could see that because like I think if you're like a kid and you've never seen like a naked person before, it's just a very confusing sight, you know.
Yeah.
So I think like I could believe that, and I don't know. Like I think like if he's, I mean like I think all things are possible. I think like also if he's working out more, that could contribute to a higher sex drive.
The only other possibility, the possibilities I'm seeing, the kid saw them, the kid saw another woman, or the dad has a sex doll somewhere.
Oh.
I'm literally assuming all possibilities.
I mean, it could be true.
But I think the kid would be like, that daddy had a balloon on him or something.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's some realistic looking things out there these days.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Because we have an update.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Did she confront him?
Let's find out. This was posted like about a week after the original post. This past Friday night, I brought it up to my husband. I didn't really want to bring our daughter into it, but I felt like mentioning this strange thing she said that she saw would be the least accusatory way to bring it up. Like, you'll never guess what she said. His reaction was just to laugh, but it was a genuine laugh, not a nervous laugh. He said, yeah, probably when she peeked in the door like 2 weeks ago, but you were busy. He was laughing the whole time he told me this. He said, that time it took me like 30 minutes to finally come, that's why. I lost it. He didn't want to tell me he lost it, and I had to get back in the zone, if you will, because he knew I would have jumped off and ran to see what she needed. For that, I'm a little upset with him. What if she needed something, felt sick, was scared? He claims she peeked in the door and immediately left, that he had noticed the door crack open, but she left and he didn't want to interrupt what we were doing to say, guess who just peeked in here? I don't know if I believe it completely because I still think it's crazy that I could have been that into it that I wouldn't hear the door open. Logistically, yes, my back would have been to the door if I was on top, and he could have easily tilted his head so that she could, 1, see if it was him, and 2, he could have seen that she was there and then left. How would she assume it was some random naked lady? He says I don't use my mommy voice during sex. It was dim in the room.
I know too much about these people's sex.
Yeah, we know
Too much.
everything.
They're one sentence away from describing their genitals like that.
So she peeked in. I was kissing on his bussy. And, okay. It was dim in the room. She only peeked in and was probably very confused and wouldn't imagine her mommy would be naked and doing whatever weird things she just saw me doing, acting so funny. I kept telling him I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him. He was insistent on yes, it happened, and I didn't notice. I was really enjoying myself, and he's sorry if it makes him an asshole for not stopping me so I could run after our daughter who probably needed something and just wanted to come sleep in our room, which she frequently does. He was like, seriously? You think I'm cheating on you and that I'd bring somebody here when I was alone with our daughters? He handed me his phone. I told him I didn't want to look at it. He insisted I look at it and go through everything to prove himself. I asked him what about his increased sex drive. He claims he doesn't know why he's so horny all the time. He's just been working out a lot, eating healthy, and he claims he's just super attracted to me lately, like I got even more attracted to him since I gained about 10 pounds. I asked him about the multiple gym trips per day. He said that's just what works for his schedule right now, and he just had a routine he's really into, but he can change it if it bothers me that much. I asked him if he's on anything. He was like, on any what? I said, anything that could enhance your results at the gym and also make you super horny. He said, no, I wouldn't take any of that stuff. I asked him about my pubic hair. Why so opinionated about it after years of not caring? He said it has absolutely nothing to do with anyone else. I removed way more hair than normal sort of by accident not too long ago, like a few months ago. And he said he thought it was really hot, just something different and fun, and it felt really good. Man, this is the opposite of the wedding story.
Yeah.
Every detail. No one asked.
We're all like, okay. He seemed to be hurt that I thought he might be cheating, but also found it ridiculous and almost humorous. I have to admit that I don't feel 100% about it, but that might say more about me than it does about him. I'm not going to install nanny cams or hire a PI. I'm going to try to do what I should do, which is to trust that what he's telling me is the truth.
I think he covered his bases.
I think I trust him. If in that moment he goes, here, take my phone, look through everything.
That's true.
That's at the very least, that guy is so confident.
True.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because what I will say.
It sounds like she doesn't trust him.
Yeah, going only based on the Reddit stories we've read, because I am not a psychologist or a couples therapist, but most of the stories we read where someone's cheating, there's like the sex is dead in the relationship, or it's kind of lacking. Like, I know it can vary, but this just feels like they're doing great. She was feeling super confident up until the kid said this.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like a pattern of signs. She was only
That's true.
thinking about all this once that was said. It'd be different if she's like, for the past 2 months, I've been feeling weird about all these things. And then my daughter said this. She's like, no, he's a great dad, great husband. We're having a great sex life. Everything's awesome. My daughter said this weird thing, and now I'm starting to look at everything different.
She heard the daughter say that and was like, oh my God, and had flashbacks of like everything and put together all these facts that who knows if they connected or not.
It
but
seems like he covered his bases, unless he's like a pro cheater
Yeah.
who's like always
Yeah.
deleting all his messages and he's just like on it.
I mean, there are ways to be at that level.
If you are that nuts, yes.
It would just be a lot of calculated things in order to make this cheating thing happen and to be able to cover it up like this.
Someone in the comments said, classic Redditor plot twist. He saw the original post and deduced it was about him and had time to figure out what to say to justify it with help from comments.
No.
Crying, laughing emoji.
I mean, oh, sure, that's possible.
Yeah,
well,
sure,
but
sure. Someone else said, everything he said was reasonable and he was so quick too. Didn't turn it back on you, didn't deflect, didn't accuse you of craziness. Then he just offered up the phone. I'd say believe him. He doesn't seem suspicious. That's also true. There's just, I know it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to have cheated.
Yeah.
But all of the signs that we've seen from previous cheating stories that come true, I'm not seeing those signs in this one.
And he also offered to change his schedule. He's like, if that doesn't work, then I can.
Right.
right.
Yeah,
Which
I don't
would require breaking up with the person potentially if that were the case.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, of course, I don't know every cheating story in the world, but usually when people are confronted and they have been cheating, they will get angry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they will
throw
try
it
to
back on you.
deflect.
Yes.
Exactly as you were saying, when he just kind of laughed it off, was like, well, there's this and this thing, but you could do this and I could change this and we can work through if you're not feeling secure.
He'd have to be a sociopath to lie that way.
yeah.
Because she was like, here's this thing. He's like, I know exactly what it was.
And obviously people exist that would go that far, but it seems unlikely.
Be very rare. And it would, like I said, I feel like there'd be a pattern before this. But she's
Right.
not describing any sort of pattern. Someone else said, it sounds like you are the problem in this situation, to be honest. He sounds like a pretty reasonable guy to humor the amount of scrutiny you are putting on him. And someone else said, are you okay? He answered all of your questions, no matter how ridiculous. I think you need therapy or a glass of wine to chill out, like for real. Now, what I will say from her side is like, I think we've all been there where something happens and we get suspicious about something,
Yeah.
even if it's crazy. And if your head's in it for like a week, that kind of becomes your reality. And you are delusional, but it's impossible to just like jump back.
Right.
It's
Yeah, that's
hard to
true
just be like,
too.
oh, you're right. I'm being crazy. All right, I'm good.
Also, it kind of creates a rift in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was just all in her head. You know, it's kind of that self-fulfilling prophecy situation where it's like, I thought this was the case, so then I started behaving as if it was the case, and now the relationship is kind of, our interactions together are as if it were true at this point.
Right.
Even if it's not.
Yeah, because suspicion can really rip a relationship apart because it's all built on trust. So if you don't have that trust, that relationship will start to decay. So she has to try to remedy that on her side. And maybe it'll just take time.
It's good that she just like put it out there.
Yeah.
And it seems like now that it's out there, they can move on.
Right.
And he can now cheat without her knowing.
All right, next story here. Quit my job at an upscale steakhouse, but not before making sure all the customers knew what a prick the owner was. Okay. This happened back in 2009, the good years.
Okay, panty liners.
Panty liner years. This happened back in 2009, but I shared it in a comment on another sub yesterday and figured it belonged here too. I was waiting tables at an upscale steakhouse and the company culture was absolute garbage. The owner, Gary, was constantly throwing tantrums and screaming at everyone, and we all hated him. He'd line us all up before every shift just to berate us and yell how lucky we were that he'd hired us because we were all shit at our jobs and no one else would ever have us. Stuff like that. The only reason anyone ever stuck around was because the money was good due to the high ticket prices and solid customer base, as well as the fact that there weren't many other employment options for fine dining services in the area. In addition to being a massive prick, Gary was also a cheap bastard. There was this 6-foot-tall dessert cooler in the kitchen that had a broken door, and he put off fixing it for months because he didn't want to spend the money. So it was just sort of hanging on its hinge, and you had to really be careful opening it. Inevitably, during the height of a Saturday night rush, it fell completely off and hit one of the servers hard. So she's laying there on the kitchen floor, bleeding from a serious-looking wound on her head, and Gary is standing over her and screaming down at her, Way to go, just brilliant. What the am I supposed to do now? It's the middle of the rush. You've got a full section and no one's going to be able to pick up your goddamn tables because everyone who works here is useless and incompetent. You should have been more careful. I'd seen a lot of his shit, but this was the hard line, and I made a decision right then that I was out. So when I got home that night, I typed up a letter to Gary, telling him exactly why I was quitting and leaving no detail out when it came to his tantrums, his verbal abuse, and the hazards in the workplace that he wouldn't address. I printed out 30 copies, went in early for my opening shift the following day, mid-afternoon, the place was only open for dinner, and hid them all over the restaurant where guests would find them. In the menus, under the napkins on the tables, in between paper towels in the restrooms, etc. Some were in really obscure places so that they wouldn't be found right away and would keep popping up randomly. Surprise, allowing my legacy to live on. Then, instead of working my shift, I left before the pre-shift lineup. Fast forward to a couple days later when a coworker reached out and shared with me the beautiful details of Gary's head almost exploding with rage when he found out about the letters. A couple tables read them and walked out before ordering. People in the dining room could hear him screaming from the kitchen. Apparently, they were still finding letters weeks later, and every time one surfaced, the vein in Gary's forehead would pop out and he'd disappear into his office and slam the door. It remains one of my proudest moments. And my only regret is that I couldn't be a fly on the wall watching this all unfold. That's pro-revenge. That's not petty.
Wait, I love that.
revenge.
Is that like, you remember the movie Waiting? Like, is that
Yeah.
just like
Yeah,
a better part of that movie with Ryan Reynolds?
I guess.
That is brilliant. Why didn't he stay
What do you mean?
to watch the reveal?
He probably wanted to get
a
out of
little
there.
too late,
Gary sounds a little scary.
Yeah, Gary's scary.
I hope
scary.
Scary Gary is gone and fired. And
I don't know.
That's great because it's like, it's kind of,
No, the owner, so he
yeah.
can't really get
Scary
fired.
Gary.
It's harmless in a way that it's like, you're just leaving information around. And then it's
truth.
like Easter egg
Yeah.
hunt thing. It's like, oh, they're in little places. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. You're just leaving facts around.
Yeah. What would you do if you found a letter like that while you were eating at a restaurant? I would be a little confused at first. I'd be like, what is this? And then
Shane's like,
I
rip,
think if I
rip,
understood,
rip.
I think if I comprehended that I was like, oh, a worker here is saying that this place is awful to work at, I think I probably would feel.
I would probably leave. Like,
Yeah.
if someone had the need to hide this information and spread it because they couldn't otherwise, it's like, oh, I'd leave.
I'd probably go up to the host and be like, is there something going on in this restaurant?
Yeah,
Do I need to call the forces
exactly.
of the police? I don't know.
Do I need to call the army?
What other?
All the king's horses and all
Do
the
I need
king's
to call? Do I need to call the King's Court to come in here on their
And
horses?
this all back together again?
As someone who's cried in a walk-in freezer at a restaurant because of
Oh.
restaurant culture.
I've cried many times in a
Alone?
walk-in.
Oh, it's the best. My only regret is that I wish the tears hardened into little crystals.
Oh. And you're
I
there
saved
and you're
them.
just like, and then someone fucking busts in to try to move a keg and they're like,
They're like
and you're
crying in the
like-
walk-in.
I'll be right out. And they're like, okay,
Okay.
don't care.
Yeah. It's like, it's already hard enough when it's just the restaurant. And so like to have a Gary there, no way.
Scary Gary.
Scary Gary. I'm taking notes on this.
Yeah,
That's
this is incredible.
That's great.
Some comments here. Great story to read with my morning coffee. Gary. Someone else said, I am usually the person who preaches to leave the job with dignity, no matter how bad the circumstances. But this was effed up. Gary got what he deserved. You should have made more copies. And lastly, someone said, holy shit. Hopefully they went out of business as word got out. OP responded, the place itself is still in business, but I'm pretty sure it's under new ownership, thankfully. That's great.
That's great.
Also, I feel like that was kind of leaving with dignity.
That's what I was just
Sorry,
going to say.
comment. I feel like there's dignity to that.
Moved yourself, but you just kind of informed everyone.
It's like, because a news story isn't going to pick this up. Like, it's like, how else do you spread this word?
Scary Gary is out in public.
Tonight at 8 p.m. Scary Gary.
Gary.
And then that lady that you were doing earlier interviews him. Just,
So Scary Gary, we want to talk to you. So we have a little scare. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. The drugs haven't kicked in. We've got Scary
sorry,
Gary.
is this your armrest, Gary?
We've got Scary Gary here to talk with us. Tell us what's going on. I'm sorry, I put my whole hand in your mouth.
That was great.
I just want to play this host so bad.
No.
We've got Scary Gary here, and also our advertisements. We want to thank you guys for coming in hot, Macy's. You get 20% off if you use my name, Carolyn.
The entire top half of your head does not move.
It's like, is it like the stenographer that we were talking about?
Yes, it is.
The court stenographer. Can I just play someone who has dead eyes, please?